Welcome to Tammany Tech 101. I'm Grant Black, Director of Technology for St. Tammany Parish Government. Our goal is to ensure that our citizens grow in their digital literacy. Today on Tammany Tech, we talk to Christine Evans, GIS Manager for St. Tammany Parish Government. Welcome, Christine. Happy to have you here.
It's good to be here.
So how long have you been in your role as a GIS Manager?
As a manager for a little over 2 years. I've been with the parish for a little over 3 years now.
So what would someone do to prepare themselves for a role as a GIS Manager with a local government?
Well, for me, I started off working on federal contracts, doing GIS work. I did that for about 20 years, and it was a lot of research and analyzing of data that needed to be accurate, and there was no room for errors when working on federal contracts. So it did prepare me to make sure that the data for the parish was accurate, correct, and correctly cited by the ordinance or the resolution that the data came from.
So I know you typically go out and look at the resolutions and the ordinances to find out what's happened that could affect, your department or your group.
Yes, I do. The GIS department is in charge of maintaining any data that is used to make maps. So we make sure that the data for the parish maintained roads, laterals, bridges, ponds is up to date.
So what's a lateral?
A lateral is a ditch. That's a simple explanation of what a lateral is.
Okay. So we talked about GIS a few times. What exactly is GIS?
GIS is the Geographic Information Systems, and it is nothing more than a computerized system of data that's collected, analyzed, and displayed, and it's all displayed geographically.
So you guys do a lot of digital mapping. I think with the broadband project, we worked a lot with your team. You guys produce beautiful maps. Talk about some of the other maps you guys have generated, maybe.
We do a lot of maps for the council. The councilmen always are requesting maps for their areas and their districts. We make maps for public works. We make maps for the grants department for when they're going after grants. We are currently working with the utility department to map all of their data as well. So we are slowly but surely infiltrating all of the departments within the parish.
So I feel like my personal opinion is GIS is really going to become the center of data.
Absolutely.
And we see that coming quickly. So you've done something recently with Google Maps and Waze?
We have, yes. We had partnered, or we got our certification so that we can do road closures on Google Maps and Waze. So the barns or public works, if there's high water or if there is a tree in the road, they can report that on the app with field maps, and it will then report back to Google Maps and Waze to redirect citizens to go a different route. So
our parish government can now close roads and let citizens that are navigate around roads that are closed or that are
yes.
blocked.
Yes.
So that's something that really affects the citizens directly. That's kind of a cool thing.
It is.
We also have citizens come in off the street.
We do. We do have a lot of citizens, not a lot, but we have a good fair amount that come in. They ask questions. They don't realize, though, that we have maps published on our website that they can access, and it answers the questions that they're looking for, such as what council district I'm in, what ward I'm in, and but it's accessible to them right now. But they do come in, and sometimes they just want a hard copy printed map, just something tangible to hold in their hands, and we're more than happy to make that for them.
So what other, we do political maps, right? So districts, rec districts, those type things? You can tell me about some of those?
Some of those, well, we have the rec districts. We also have been helping out with the register of voters because they have had to relocate some of their polling locations. So we do keep up with those polling locations, and that's also made available on the website. We have to maintain all the council district maps. We just had a redistricting, so we had to make sure all that was displayed correctly for everyone.
So you like a redistricting. So citizens today could go on your maps, our online maps, and what data would they see?
It looks very similar to what Google Maps looks like. There's a little search bar. All you have to do is put in your address, And in most cases, the address will just auto-populate as you're typing it in, just like Google Maps, and it'll take you directly to where it is you are, where your address is, your resident is, or your business, and then it'll tell you what district you're in. There's also additional information in the data, such as who your council member is, their phone number, contact information, so you don't have to look much further for the information you're looking for.
So with that map of that point of your house, you get what's one-stop shopping for every elected official you have, districts you're in, those type of things.
Yeah.
It's all interactive.
Yes.
So you can move around, check on your neighbors too if you want to.
You can.
So you and I both started, you started a little bit before me, but we'd both been here just a few months before Hurricane Ida struck.
Yes, we were.
And GIS was very involved in that particular effort.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about maybe what the activation was like during Ida? Because I think people don't realize that parish government gets activated and we're all in the EOC, separated. Usually, sometimes the families are in an area with us, but we have to be at the EOC during events like this.
We do. Ida was a big eye-opener. It was a lot of activity, a lot of people just moving and working, but the method at that time for field collection of damage assessment was that they were using an app. Mm-hmm. People would go out in the field, use an app, and then at the end of the day, the data was then exported to a spreadsheet, which then would get emailed back to me. And then my team would geocode those addresses to then build a database of the areas that were affected. It took anywhere but 24 to 48 hours from the point of when the data was collected to where we could get it on a map to show President Cooper. And it seems like there was a much better way to do this. Should have been a better process at the time. So when we got back from Hurricane Ida, we started trying to build out a future plan or a future model for what to do.
This data that we collected got reported back to FEMA for damage assessments. Yes. So we had a time limit on that. Mm-hmm. So we would collect data, but we weren't the only people collecting data.
No, we weren't, and that was another problem that we started to see during Ida. So there were duplicate data collections. We had multiple people in the same area, of course, collecting in the same structures. The people out in the field, this might have been their second or third day of working 12-hour shifts or longer, so they're tired. Their handwriting, they might have misspelled something or they got the wrong house number transposed. So then when we were back in the office, we were trying to do research on the errors or the houses that didn't geocode. And research is just not a time to it's not a time to be doing research while you're in an activation.
Sure. So basically from the time that they did an assessment to the time it got mapped and reported was about 48 hours?
Mm-hmm. About 48 hours is a good assumption.
So basically we kind of came back after that, we had a few lessons learned, but that was one. So then recently with the Slidell tornadoes, we had another opportunity to do the same field post-storm assessment. How did that go?
So much better. We implemented a new damage assessment app using field maps, which with our software Esri. And we collaborated. We did a partnered collaboration with the fire department. They created demand zones, and everybody knew where to stay. The data was from the app was then reported back to a live dashboard. So the data was coming in live. You could see where other areas were being reported live, so there was no duplication. And because it was working off of basically like a GPS type system, you didn't have to worry about what street am I on, what's this house number. You would just open the app, it pulls in a map of where you're at. You can move that little point to wherever you need to point it, hit add point, and then drop down lists of what type of damage it is, what happened, is it destroyed. It was all the FEMA questions that we need to report to FEMA. You could take pictures with the app, put pictures in with each point, and then the beautiful thing about that was it was reported instantly.
So from a dashboard perspective as well. So
yes.
Inside of the Emergency Operations Center, EOC, we had representatives from GOSEP, from the state, they were in there asking us for details urgently. How quickly can we get data? When do we have? How much do we have? How many houses? This dashboard, basically.
It did. So the Slidell tornadoes happened on April 10th. That was that Wednesday. And they started doing damage assessment immediately. By that Friday morning, I want to say 90% of everything had been assessed and was reported. That's when they knew that the parish would not qualify for FEMA money. And then by Tuesday morning, the final report, the final submission to FEMA was done, and everything had been complete. So it was really about 5 days to do everything.
And how's that compared to Hurricane Ida?
It took us 48 hours just to make the first map with Ida.
And how long did it take us to the time we actually made our final assessment to FEMA?
It was, I think, well over a month.
Yeah. So I mean, this was a smaller area, but we had immediate data coming in.
Yes, we did.
And immediate results, immediate reporting. We knew within hours, within about 36 hours, we had a pretty good idea that we weren't going to qualify for FEMA aid at that point. So it's pretty impressive that we had how far we had come in just a very short period of time.
In a very short, about 2 years. It's been a very long 2 years, it seems like, trying to implement all this, because it was a lot of training that we had to do with all the departments and the staff on how to use the app and how to use the tools. And
going to demand zones, the other thing is when we were trying to do the cleanup and report on the cleanup, the original reporting method was a grid. Is that right?
Yes, it was. It was. And it knew, so yes, so for the cleanup, everybody kind of stayed in their own zones. We could make the push contracts that came and got all the debris, and they knew exactly where to go. This is where the debris is that needs to be picked up, and those maps were done pretty fast as well.
St. Tammany Parish has a pretty unique situation with GIS and how we handle things. So we're a little bit separated as far as like little stovepipe systems with the assessors kind of by themselves, governments by themselves, fire departments. Everyone kind of has their own thing going on. But within the GIS community, specifically, we have something a little different.
We do. We have something called the St. Tammany Parish GIS District, which was created back in 2014, and it was created at the state level. So we are mandated to do this. And it comprises the parish government, the assessor's office, 911, mosquito abatement, the register of voters, and the municipalities. And I might be leaving somebody out. But it's a good group of people, and we are put together to share resources and to just make sure that we are working together on working in GIS and the GIS.
So you talk about sharing data. So what is shared? Say like 911 and...
Well, 911, yeah. So 911 will share the addresses, and of course we share our parish maintained roads with them. Assessor's office shares the parcels. So it's making it, nobody has to recreate the wheel. We are just sharing information and then communicating to one another when things happened, which is really important to make sure that we communicate.
So, and prior to 2014, this was not happening.
No, it was not. Everybody did their own thing. Duplicate efforts.
All right. So you have something coming up with the library?
We do. We have, well, with the St. Tammany Parish GIS District, we partnered with the St. Tammany Parish Library, and we helped them go after a grant that was by Portland State University, and it is to put Esri software in the library computers. And then the GIS District is going to teach 4 workshops at the library in September, and it's open for patrons, and they can learn how to make maps, how to make story maps, web maps, and geocode addresses.
So what is a story map?
Oh gosh, a story map, I always say a map tells a story. So a story map is you have your maps, but you can also add in the map, it's a frame of information. So you can add pictures, you can add content to your map. Kind of like background research of the map.
So you have a little metadata kind of hidden in there?
Yeah.
So you guys just won an award?
We did. So Esri, who is it is our software, they're the leading GIS software. They have given us the SAG Award. It is a Special Achievement in GIS, and it recognizes St. Tammany Parish Government for advancing so much and so fast in using their software and their products. We went from this very stagnant data sets to where we're now using apps, and we're sharing data, and we're making story maps and web maps and making it available for a lot of people.
So I think 2 years ago when we were negotiating our contract with them, what was it they said about what we were doing?
We have a very special contract with Esri, and it's actually the Esri contract is shared amongst the St. Tammany Parish GIS District, so we share the cost of this contract. And they were not happy for the fact that we were staying in a stagnant maintenance agreement with them. And we weren't using the enterprise agreement the way that it was meant to be used, which is to maybe touch around and play with all the different products that Esri has. So it was a challenge accepted here.
And having that enterprise license gives us access to those tools.
It does.
So essentially we aren't paying anything more for using, and we're just basically now able to use our full suite of tools integration.
Yes.
So they've basically given us an award going from 2 years ago to a stagnant, we weren't doing enough, we're kind of one of their slower customers, to now being more towards the cutting edge of what they want us.
Yep.
What they
and
want.
they're only they are giving out this award to only 100 recipients this year, and we were one of them, and that's across the United States, all of the United States.
Very impressive. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's a significant achievement for a group in such a short period of time.
Yes.
All right, so GIS Day. So we'll close out with GIS Day.
GIS Day it happens every year in November. This year it's November 20th, and it's just a day to really bring awareness to the community of what GIS is. And I'm hoping that we can maybe partner again with the library. I haven't talked to them about this yet, but we can maybe do something with them and the people that come to our workshops, and we can maybe celebrate together our achievements with doing so much already with the community.
Just a once a year to go out and say, hey, here's the tools we have, and basically show the community the tools that we have and what we're able to do.
What GIS is and how everybody uses it.
Right. So what about the future? What's coming next from the GIS group inside of a parish government?
Oh, there's so many ideas in my head. They really are. But one of the things that I really hope for is that all the departments here at the parish, they need GIS. They might not realize it, but they use it, and they can use it better with what their projects are. And they can I want them to think of GIS every time that they have a project, or they need something, they need help, or if they need a resource. We're here for them, and that we can help them with their work.
So I think right now we're working on some integration within the capital asset system, so we're able to map roads and those things. We'll be able to track when the last time a road was updated, and basically color code roads that should be repaved and those things.
Yes.
So there's a lot of integration that's going to come in and build data-driven decisions through the GIS department. That's
going to be a fun project.
I think it's very impressive how quickly we've moved ahead, and what a great job you've done leading this team.
I'm proud of all of us.
Well, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. And thank you for watching. Join us again next time on Tammany Tech 101.